So, hope you guys are all doing well. As you guys can see in the back, I've got a different setup because obviously now I'm in uni, and to be very honest, I really put off making this video because let's just say results day, God had his way on results day, sure. Like it just, I don't know, results day itself, looking back now, it was honestly a blessing. Like, I'm not even just saying that for the sake of, I mean it genuinely, it was honestly a blessing in disguise. But definitely on the day itself, it looked like the worst day ever. So as you guys can see by the title, today's going to be an A-level results experience testimony type of thing. I don't really want to call it a story time per se because it's not just a story. There were definitely hidden gems and different things God wanted to teach me along the way. So yeah, it's going to be a mixture of narrating and studying the Bible. So I hope you guys enjoy and I hope you guys learn something. So I have my notebook with me again, and just going to show you guys quickly the three main things God taught me throughout the experience. And definitely, let me pack this up because this is gonna it's gonna irritate me throughout this video, I can tell. But I just want to share with you guys the three things I'd say the verse really just reminded me of throughout the whole experience of A-levels, and basically what God wants me to share with you guys. The first thing is the idea that we need to listen to God. If God has a sign, guys, don't ignore the sign. Second thing, acceptance. So for me, the acceptance came from I had to just understand and accept and get on with the fact that I can't do everything. In terms of education, there are certain milestones I wanted to achieve, but I just had to accept that's just, you know, I can't do that. And the third one is I had to change my prayer. Like, looking back, I should have done change my prayer, because certain things I was praying for, it was actually hindering me from certain blessings God wanted to put my way. So the way I'm going to lay out this video is I'm going to read the verse and then tell you guys what happened at certain times of my A-level experience, particularly from year 13, just year 13. Year 12 to me wasn't really much of the story, but particularly year 13. So I'll read the verse, tell you guys what happened, and then just add in what God taught me according to the verse. So I'm going to be reading from 2 Corinthians chapter 12 from verse 1 to verse 4 in the NLT version, and it says, "This boasting will do no good, but I must go on. I will reluctantly tell about visions and revelations from the Lord. I was caught up to the third heaven 14 years ago. Whether I was in my body or out of my body, I don't know. Only God knows. Yes, only God knows whether I was in my body or outside my body. But I do know that I was caught up to paradise and heard things so astounding that they cannot be expressed in words, things no human is allowed to tell." So the first thing about this is the idea of visions. Back in September, literally a year ago, September of year 13, we had to obviously start applying for universities, and I applied to Cambridge. It's awkward because I didn't get in, but it's okay, it's fine. No, I'm joking. Let me just fast forward. I got rejected. As you guys can tell anyway, I'm not in Cambridge right now, but I got rejected, and I remember I was so angry, I deleted and permanently then deleted the email. So I'll try and find other forms of screenshots and stuff. So anyway, later on, around late October, I then received an email saying, I'd been selected for an interview. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I wasn't even saying I got selected for an interview. I was saying I got into Cambridge, because for me, I've just found that along my path so far anyway, I've never really had, up until then, I'd never really had stumbling blocks. I was very much, dare I say, babied. So I'd ask God for something, I'd pray, I'd fast, and I'd get it. That's literally how it was. So of course I'd build that expectation that I'd pray and I'd fast for something as big as Cambridge and get it, because I'd never really been don't let me say rejected, but I'd never really, God either says yes, no, or later, and I never really had the no or later. I'd only had yes. So of course I was expecting to get into Cambridge. I went for the interview in November. I slept over, went for the interview, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I only told a few people, and the few people that I told, they were asking, how is it, like, how are you liking it? I said, I'm loving it. Guys, I promise you, my spirit didn't settle in that place. This is just me personally. My spirit wasn't settling. I remember on the morning of the interview, I don't know if you guys have ever forced the spirit. When I tell you guys, I was feeling a sense of, this isn't the place, but I was forcing it. I went to go and put on worship music, gospel music. I remember one song I played over and over again was Do It Again, and there was a verse, I think it's a bridge, and it says, I've seen God move before, I've seen him move mountains, so of course I'm going to believe that he'll do it again. I don't know what mountain I was referring to, but I said, yep, I'm in. And I just didn't settle. my spirit wasn't settling. And usually when it comes to interviews and stuff, I'm very chilled and laid back. I'm not nervous. I don't really get nervous, but I was nervous. So anyway, after that interview, again, I forced the spirit. I knew I didn't get a place. I knew, because they had to rank you, I knew I probably got the worst ranking because that interview just wasn't it. And I still took myself to the toilet, went on the floor, and I was like, thank you, God, I got in. God's looking at me like, which in? Like, what are you talking about? So yeah, on my way back home, I was texting my mum, I was texting my dad, I was like, yeah, God has shown me this is the place. God has shown me this is where I'm gonna be. I can feel it. I didn't feel anything. And then later on, fast forward now to January, we were told that in January the 14th, I believe, or the 16th, we'd get an email saying whether we got selected for an offer or got rejected. And so I remember the whole weekend I was so chilled because I was so confident, guys. I fasted and I prayed and I cried and I wept. So I got in. And like I said, I'd never really heard the no or the maybe later. I'd only heard yes up until that point. And so I remember on the morning I woke up and I was like, yeah, this place is for me. But it wasn't as confident as I was before. I was kind of like... And then let's fast forward now to break time, because it was around break time when they sent the email. I'll really try and find a screenshot. So I was in the classroom with some of my friends, and they knew that I'd applied to Cambridge. So I got the email and I was like, oh guys, it's in. And bless them, they were like, yes, we believe in you, da, 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 da. I was expecting to see congratulations, but all I could see was, we wish you the best in finding another uni. And I was so confused and literally said I didn't get in. And they did the whole explanation of, oh, there are so many applicants and they could only accept a certain amount of applicants. And I don't know if news has ever hit you, like things you're not expecting and you just feel tired, like you feel numb and it's like, you just feel like you're gonna drop. I was so baffed. And I remember I was with my friends in the classroom and they were waiting, like, did you get in? And I was like, my phone, the Wi-Fi's not working, hold on. And I went to the toilet and I literally, in the toilet, it was empty. I was like, I was hyperventilating, I was confused, I was shaking, I was like, God, like, I'd literally rehearsed how I would tell my parents that I got in. What do you mean I didn't get in? I remember for the whole day, I kept refreshing my email. I promise, I kid you guys not. I kept refreshing my email for them to send me something like, oh, we are so sorry, this never happens, but we accidentally sent you the wrong email. Like, you were meant to get a place, but you didn't. And I remember the way I wept. Have you guys ever cried so much that your head hurts and you're literally out of tears? Like, I felt like I needed to reload the tears because I was done crying. I'd wake up, I remember I went home early. I woke up and I cried. I woke up and I cried for that whole day, literally intervals. Every 2 hours, wake up and cry. My parents were so concerned. And I was like, I disappointed you. And they were so, I just thank God for my parents because they were like, don't you dare say that you didn't disappoint me. And obviously they had the whole talk of God's plan. At the time I was thinking, exactly. God's plan, this ain't it, so what's going on? And my parents were like, no, you haven't disappointed me. And of course I was hearing what my parents were saying, but I was thinking, nah, like, we're meant to be rejoicing, like, you're not meant to be comforting me, we're meant to be jumping. Anyway, that's pretty much what happened. I got rejected. And yeah, for me, I realized that I was using Cambridge as a title, or a way of affirmation, a way of validation, a way of feeling accepted, especially by like external family members. You know, for my parents to say, yeah, my daughter got into Cambridge is great, but I just had to cling on to the fact that my spirit didn't settle. I can't stay somewhere my spirit isn't going to be there. And I think it's Exodus 33:16-17, and it literally says, God, let me go where your presence will be, because where your presence is, that's where your spirit sets people apart. And I didn't want to go to uni. My parents had always taught me, and I was now able to embed this for myself and say, wherever I go, be it secondary school, be it sixth form, be it uni, I'm not just there to study, I'm there to impart some form of spiritual wisdom to people. And if God didn't want me to be there, it just wasn't happening. So that was a very long summary of what happened on the day of my rejection. So yeah, the first thing in regards to the whole A-level experience is, if God gives you a word, a vision, a sign, a message, hold on to it and don't reject it, even if it's not something you don't want to hear. And literally my anthem for A-levels is Proverbs 19:21, where it says, many are the plans in a person's heart, but it's always going to be the Lord's purpose that prevails. And God taught me that 3 times throughout the whole A-level experience. God told me, Ayo, if I'm giving you a vision, hold on to it. Don't go and create your own, because it will jam. you will jam. And I just thank God, because I reluctantly, just like the verse said, I reluctantly held on to it, but at least I had some sense of, yeah, let me just hold on to God. I'm so sorry, I just looked back, and for the whole of those clips I had like lip gloss residue. I'm so sorry, but I'm not going to refilm it because that came from my chest. The second message that God taught me was accepting that there are certain hurdles I can't jump over, and I mean that in terms of education. So it's good to set yourself goals, but you need to be realistic. So I'd set myself, it's good to set goals, don't get me wrong, but you need to know limitations. And I was using different verses of the Bible to trick myself, if that makes sense. So you know, like Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Okay, there are certain things I just can't do, right? Certain things everyone can't do. But I'm talking about specifically, there are certain modules I couldn't do. I don't know if anything has never not made so much sense to you in a module before, but guys, so I would say I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, which is true, but I had to understand that I have some limitations. Verse 5, same chapter, verse 5 to verse 7, so I will read. That experience is worth boasting about, but I'm not going to do it. I will boast only about my weaknesses. So I'm going to stop at verse 5, verse 6 and verse 7. It was so hard because I'm so used to always finding a way, and A-levels taught me, it's okay, certain things you can't do it. I was just pushing myself too much. It got to a point, yeah, literally, mentally, I was just so weak. I was so weak, and that's because I pushed myself too far. So accept that there are certain things you can't do. You need that sense of sanity, and it's fine. If I wanted to boast, I would be no fool in doing so, because I will be telling the truth, but I won't do it because I don't want anyone to give me credit beyond what they can see in my life or hear in my message. And so yeah, this second phase, so the first phase was the Cambridge rejection, and the second phase was during my mock. So this was my final mock before my real exam, so this was around March. Those mocks, yeah, it was a mock, literally. It was so terrible, and because it was just before my A-levels, I was thinking, what is this? What God was telling me during that period of time in relation to this verse is, don't boast in yourself, because literally, if you boast in what you do, it'll flop anyway. It's a weakness. Anything I try to boast in is a weakness, but let God craft that weakness into a strength so people can see his work. And yeah, during that time I was so focused on myself. I was so focused on you need to get straight A stars. You need to, otherwise they will mock you, they will ridicule you, they'll reprimand you, they'll question your God. I was so focused on me, and God was saying, I don't do that, because the moment you start to focus on yourself, that is when you get embarrassed more than you could ever thought you'd be. And that's because literally God gave me this idea, and it's not an idea, it's truth actually, that even if I think what I'm doing is a 10 out of 10, God has no weakness, yeah? But if I think what I'm doing is a 10 out of 10, in God's might and power, that's literally like a 1 out of 10. So there's no point in me boasting, because it would just, you know what I mean? So yeah, I had to change the focus. It's not about me. It's not about they'll laugh at me. It's about God, just use my weaknesses. And even if I don't get to where I want to be in terms of the grade, just let your name be glorified, full stop. But I was so focused on God, right? If I jam, yeah, they're gonna mock me. Forget about you for a second, they're gonna mock me. They're gonna say, you this Christian and you can't do simple da-da-da. It's not about that. And I feel like I'm speaking to someone. Don't be so focused on people are going to chat, people are going to say, oh, you pray, you read your Bible. They don't know that as a Christian you also go through trials and tribulations. It's not because you're a Christian that you will get straight A's, you'll get 100% all the time. You're human as well, so you're subject to setbacks. So the final thing, which is the main thing, this is the actual results day. So I'm going to narrate what happened on the actual results day. Thursday the 15th of August. Looking back now, best day. It was hard, but looking back now, I wouldn't have had it any other way. I couldn't anyway, because God stepped in, but yeah. So that's 8, and it says, 3 different times I begged the Lord to take it away. So just quickly to encapsulate the whole A-level experience. Cambridge, I cried, I wept, I fasted, I prayed. I said, God, this is difficult. I didn't get in, take it away from me. Mocks, I prayed, I fasted, I cried, I wept. I failed. I said, God, I can't do this, take it away from me. Now, actual results day, I prayed leading up, I fasted, I leading up, I wept leading up, and I cried leading up. Results day didn't go my way. I said, God. So let me quickly narrate to you guys what happened on the actual morning. I was gonna tell you guys, yeah, I had rehearsed because I'd prayed and I'd fasted and I'd cried and I'd wept. I was expecting, first of all, massive shout out to Diane, because Diane got into Warwick. That's where we all wanted to go. I don't think I've ever felt so much joy for a friend before on results day, because literally that day was messy, but Diane got into Warwick and it got to a point I'd forgotten that I still had to call up universities because I was so overjoyed. So yeah, a massive shout out to Diane again, guys, because she got into Warwick like this. Whereas me, hey, two of my friends, Diane and another friend, the three of us, we applied to Warwick, and of course, like, I didn't get in, but it's okay. And the other friend didn't get in as well, but it's okay. And by the time it got to 8 o'clock, I counted down to 3, 2, 1. I remember before I got to 2, my other friend had opened, and all I could hear was, guys, I didn't get in. And the way what's the saying? My heart sunk into my stomach. I was literally like, okay, this is very awkward, because it's either she didn't get in and Dan got in and I got in, or she didn't get in and Dan got in and I didn't get in, or the three of us didn't get in. And it was just like, okay, so she didn't get in, and then she ended the call, understandably, to sort everything out, and it was just me and Diane. And I was like, okay. And then I did 3, 2, 1 again, and Diane opened, and all I could hear was Diane screaming, and Diane's mum in the background screaming, and I was just so, guys, I was so excited, and I'm so silly because I was like, yeah. Diane was like, open yours now, because I forgot, and I was like, oh man. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, from just before Diane opened hers up, I had a feeling I didn't get in, but I wanted to rebuke it. So yeah, I opened mine up, and if I can, I'll log back into UCAS and screenshot and show you guys what the message said, but it's not that deep. Like, it literally just says, it's deep. For me, mine said, okay, you didn't get into either 5 of your options, something like that, and I need to go for clearing. All I saw was, I think, a purple button with an exclamation mark, or just something that alerted me saying you're in clearing, and it gave me a clearing number. And literally for about 2 seconds I went silent, but it felt like 2 minutes. I went silent and I couldn't speak, and Dan was like, bless her, she was like, Ayo, are you okay? Did you get in? And I was like, I was shaking, and I didn't know how to feel. I was so lost. Like, it literally felt, like they say, it felt like a nightmare, because it was completely how I expected and everything. And Dan was on the phone, and I was like, oh, I'll call you back. So she obviously sensed it, and then I remember I messaged her, and I was like, Dan, I'm so sorry that I cut the phone. I also said, oh, I didn't get in, and she could sense it anyway. And I was like, but please, like, don't be over, because Dan is honestly, when you say somebody is kind-hearted, like pure-hearted, that's literally Diane. Diane was so concerned with me and my other friend getting their uni sorted that I felt like she wasn't able to celebrate her achievement as much as she wanted to. And I was actually like, Diane, forget me today, you got in, go and celebrate, I'll pack myself up. And I remember for the rest of the day I was joking around. I kept saying like, I was joking around, but I actually meant it. I was like, nah, Diane, Dan's a real MPV for today, because most of us let me not say jam, but most of us didn't get what we wanted. Dan just got in like that, like literally. Honestly, I felt like I was gonna drop, because all I could think about, too many things. I was thinking, so you're telling me all of these late night revisions, all of these sleepless nights, wasted, cool. So you're telling me that I prepared a response, I'd prepared a reaction, I'd prepared, oh my gosh, guys. Because guys, I was gonna film it, like literally, I pray, and my camera's not with me, but I filmed my response. And it's so funny because basically my camera was still rolling when I obviously realised I didn't get into uni. I didn't get into the uni I wanted to. I didn't get into either 5 of my options. And it wasn't until after I'd kind of absorbed that I didn't get in, I looked and I saw the camera still rolling. The way I slammed that camera down, I was so angry. Like, looking back now I can laugh, but I think I deleted it because I was so upset. I was saying, no, I'm gonna stay at home. I'm staying at home. You're telling me I didn't get into Cambridge, cool. But now you're telling me I didn't get into Warwick. Okay. And it's not because it's Warwick, it's because I thought at the time, again, I thought that's where God wanted me to be, and it felt like that. And not just for me, it felt like that for my parents, it felt like that for even for Dan's parents. But it's fine, it's one of those things where it's like, Because sometimes you think it's what God wants, but it's not. And it's a learning curve, which is cool. Let me go back to the Bible verse because I'm narrating a bit too much. Verse 9. Each time he said, my grace is all you need. My power works best in weaknesses. So now I am glad to boast about my weaknesses so that the power of Christ can work through me. Looking back on results day, I can thank God for that weakness because right now, I don't know if I mentioned, I'm in Aston and at the end, I'm going to explain how I'm feeling right now, but the joy I feel in this place right now, I can't fathom, but I'll get onto that. Looking back, I had to change my prayer because I'm very stubborn when it comes to if I want something, even if no one is going to help me out, I will do it myself and I'll get it. But when it comes to a prayer request or it comes to something from God, it's not about me doing it by myself, because if God doesn't want it, it's not going to happen point blank. And what God was telling me was, Ayo, don't be saying this is where I'm going, amen, amen, amen. Say, Father God, let your will be done. The way I avoided that whole prayer, let thy will be done. Hey, I remember sometimes at church we do like the whole grace, so that kingdom come, thy will be done. I remember, guys, I kid you not, when we get to that point, I'll be silent. Because I knew it applied to results day. I knew it applied to universities. And I wanted my way. I literally wanted my way. And I had tricked myself to the point of I literally remixed verses in the Bible and created my own. So yeah, once upon a time, I thought that there's a verse in the Bible that says, God will not give you more than you can bear. It doesn't say that. God never said that. Legit, God never said that. And I tricked myself into thinking that God said that because I was so stuck on, I'm going to have my way. I just want to quickly go to Job chapter 1. I think it's verse 21. And it says, he said, I came naked from my mother's womb, and I will be naked when I leave. The Lord gave me what I had, and the Lord has taken it away. Praise the name of the Lord. And so there's the most common verse I'd say is, the Lord gives and he takes away. And I was so selfish. I thought it had to be, okay, God, you give me all the blessings, take away all my sorrow, all my hardships. And God saying, no, don't do that, because when you do that, it turns into a selfish pursuit of me, 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 me. And I had to change my prayers. I had to change my prayer points to surrender. And before, I'd be so scared when it comes to that because I just want my will, but there's nothing better than surrendering it all to God, because left to you, if you drive the boat or you take the wheel, whatever you want to say, you're going to mess up. But when you give it all to God, there's no way. Messing up is not in God's characteristics, it's not in his portfolio, it's not in his job description. But if you do it by yourself, trouble. Okay, so for Warwick, I needed to get ABB. So of course I found out I didn't get at least ABB. Cool. The way I tricked myself again, I made different combinations. I said, cool, maybe I didn't get ABB. However, maybe I got A star, B, C, calm. Maybe I got A, B, C, cool. I don't feel like I am ready to share with you guys what I got, but only because it's not. I mean, it's not that deep to some people, but for me, I'm still, what's the word? It's just I'm going through a healing process because there's a lot of anger and there's a lot of frustration still there. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but yeah, it's a work in progress. And yeah, when I opened that paper, I promised you guys, yeah, the way I laughed. Say this is my envelope. I opened up the envelope. Cool. I was thinking at least an A star or an A somewhere. Opened it up. The way I laughed. Somebody give me my proper paper. This is not my envelope. Because I was thinking, no, hold on. You're telling me that I didn't go out for so long. You're telling me that I didn't sleep for so long. You're telling me I didn't eat for so long to get these grades. You're mad. It's not my paper. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, yeah. To this day, I'm still waiting for, is it UCAS, EdXL, AQA, whichever exam board. I'm waiting for the email to tell me, I'm so sorry we got your grades wrong, because really and truly, see, this is the thing, yeah. I'm still, as I'm sharing with you guys messages of what God has put in my heart, I'm speaking to myself as well, because there are still certain elements I need to let go. And I was debating, should I have this form of closure? Should I contact the university? Should I contact the examiners and find out what I did or how I performed, or just to find out if I could get it remarked? But God was telling me, Ayo, pack your bags and move on, we're going to uni. And I was thinking, literally, after I'd opened my results and I'd laughed, I could hear God saying, pack your bags, we're going to uni. And I don't just mean that literally, I mean, case closed, dust your hands and move on. this was a tribulation, cool, pray over it and heal over it, and now it's time to move on. Don't, for some people, the avenue is yes to take a gap year, yes to retake, yes to go over it and you know, take another shot, which is completely fine. But if God is telling you move on, and I'm not just talking about education, I'm talking about situations you're going through, I'm talking about friendships, I'm talking about whatever it is you're going through. If God is telling you pack your bags and move on, we're going to university, you better start packing. Because one thing about God is he will not do anything against his word. So if God is saying let's move on and you're packing, God will fold his arms and say, okay, do you know what, keep doing you, and then when you're ready to be serious, come back and we'll move on. And that's something I struggled with for, I'd say, the week after results day. The way I frantically would check my email every single morning, waiting for an apology to say, I'm sorry we mixed your grades up, but it's okay. It's okay. And just, I wanted to add another thing. I was so focused on, I wasted hours revising, and this may sound so, what's the word? Just so grand and so big to some people, but God was telling me, Ayo, okay, cool. You did try, you not even try, you did amazingly, you worked so hard, which is great. But now it's time to channel all that vim into my relationship with you. And guys, my relationship with God has I thought my relationship with God was cool, but since results day, after God shared that message with me and said, you know what, the same vim you did, all those all-nighters, come do it with me, let's study the word. Since then, the way my relationship with God has somersaulted, or yeah, it's gone like that. And God is actually too faithful, man. Waffling. But yeah, let me just go quickly and tell you guys my whole clearing experience, guys. I never thought on results day, I never thought I'd come and the word clearing never came to my mind. And I remember, if you guys haven't watched it, there's another YouTuber, Zoe J. She made a video on clearing, and funnily enough, I watched that video, me and my friends watched that video the day before, and we were like, thank God you made a way for her, God, but I know this is not my path. This is not my path, I'm not going through clearing. And I watched the video as if I was somebody going through clearing, because I could relate so much. But at the end of it, I said, oh, that was nice. But anyway, God forbid, that's not my case. Tomorrow we will rejoice. Funnily enough, I didn't even have the requirements. But when God said, my grace is sufficient, that's exactly it. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard this saying, God qualifies the unqualified. I am that unqualified that has been qualified through his grace. Because literally, I did not have the grades that Aston wanted, but I just thank God. So, I found out that Freya was going there, and when we spoke about it, we were both like, yay. We felt deflated, of course, but we're like, end of the day, we are still together, thank God. And I then found out that my best friend Abigail, she was going to a university literally 2 minutes away from me. And I was like, God, this is your plan. I'm still annoyed, but hey, let's go. And then I found out that one of my other friends, Sam, was going there, and I was like, again, I was happy, but I was still thinking, God, like, I don't want to go here. I do want to go here, but I don't. For me, going to uni, I'd always wanted, one of my main requirements was I need to find a church, or have a church that will nurture my soul, nurture my spirit. And I didn't want to be a passive youth, basically. I wanted to go somewhere where I could just, you know, like, grow spiritually, because my church was helping me with that already. So I wanted something, not that necessarily replicated my church, but at least could attend to my spiritual needs. And then I found out that literally, I can't even call her my family friend, my sister Suzanne, she goes to a uni close to me as well. And yeah, she goes to a church called First Love, and while we were at home in London, she'd been speaking to me so much about it. And to be fair, she didn't have to speak. I could literally see, you know, when they say that godly glow, Suzanne had changed and transformed. And I was thinking, what church do you go to? Because this is not the Suzanne that I know of, or that I knew of. And yeah, she talked to me about the church. And then over the course of, like, just before results day, and then even up until now, I was speaking to a guy called Josh, and literally he's so, like, he's literally a spiritual leader for me, because throughout the whole clearing process, even to this day, if it's small things like, I don't know where I'm going in this uni, like, he's always there. But definitely in terms of spiritual leadership, that's what God knew that's what I needed. And they both go to the First Love Church, and I fell in love with it because I could see the testimony of Suzanne, and I could see the testimony of Josh. And the way I stalked their Instagram page, guys. So yeah, to summarize, so far my experience of Aston is going to be summarised in the next Bible verse, because it's his grace. That's why I take pleasure in my weaknesses and in the insults, hardships, persecutions and troubles that I suffer for Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Literally, I've said that if I knew God would do it like this for me, if I knew I'd end up in Aston, this would have been my first choice from the start. Don't get me wrong, I loved Warwick, but from the moment, because I didn't go to any open days for Aston, of course, I felt a sense of stillness, if that makes sense. Of course it was sunny and the area itself is beautiful, but I just felt something within me, like peace and just stillness and joy, because I was excited to go to uni, but I wouldn't say I was excited to go to Aston. I was just excited to move on to the next chapter. But then of course, let me not lie, when I started to search up the church First Love, my excitement started to grow, and every single day I've just been my private story now, I've just been full of so much joy, and it's literally what the verse says: when I'm weak, then I'm strong through Christ. And I don't know how to describe it. It's a very long video. Hope you guys learned something from this A-level, whatever the title of this is. I hope you guys learned something from this video, and I will actually be seeing you guys next week. I'm going to be doing a room tour, and I'm going to be doing a video with my god sister. She's in the back. Guys, you need to go on the link below. You need to go and open up. Throughout my A-level experience, I'd be reading her blogs, and everything she'd say would... Sorry, there would be some times I'm going through something and God would give her a vision or a word, and she'd... Let me not say anything, guys. Just open the link. Is it subscribe?
Yeah, you can subscribe.
Read her blogs, guys, and we're going to be doing a joint video next week. Yeah, about friendship. So I hope you guys have a blessed week, and
subscribe, like, comment down below whether you like this video or not and what you learned. And make sure you put on the notification bell notification button.
And read for us vlog. Have a blessed week, guys, and
Bye.
stay blessed.